How's it going, guys? It's Ben here from the Pride of Villa, and we are back for something a little bit different this time around. We're back with another transfer update. Of course, as of recording, it's still the January transfer window. This is something that Villa will use to hopefully inspire and reignite the team going into the second half of the season. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at a few stories that have been coming out this week for Aston Villa, see about the transfers going in and see about the transfers going out, and give you my opinion and thoughts on the transfers there and then. We've also got a new camera here, so obviously if you are a little bit you know, a little bit like, ooh, it looks a little bit different today. I do bear in mind, do apologise, it's brand new, it's first time use, so I'm trying to get used to it. But hopefully we are going to be on to bigger and better things. So without further ado, if you are going to enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, tell us in the comments down below what you're looking forward to or what you'd like to see Villa do in this transfer window. Without further ado, let's get it started. So, as we already know, Aston Villa have conducted a little bit of business in the transfer window so far. The main news being the incoming Odin Malen from Borussia Dortmund, the winger that is now gone on to replace Badé of Ipswich Town. So obviously, we all know Badé hasn't really been at it this season. It's a real shame to see someone like him go, especially someone of a younger talent. Did a little bit well out to Hull City. Was a player that Unai Emery was clearly interested in, but had to give him the playtime. He's come back in. Unfortunately, he hasn't really shown it. Apart from the Bayern Munich game, hasn't really shown the quality or the expectations that were set for him from signing him. So obviously, he's been moved on for a profit as well to Ipswich Town, around 22 to 23 million pounds there. And obviously, we'd use that money to buy a replacement who, you know, we could make a video on it. I obviously could have made one, but that's one of those things that we just didn't get around to. However, for me, whilst it is an improvement, I don't personally feel like he's one of those players that is going to succeed. Don't get me wrong, Unai Emery is one of those managers that can get the best out of players. We've seen it with Morgan Rogers to elevate him from here to here. That's somebody that can be able to achieve that. However, I'm just not 100% certain on Malen. However, it's early days, but still yet to see him play a game, even for Villa, so that's not something that I can really compare on right now. But there is still a lot more business that needs to be achieved from Aston Villa in the window. So without further ado, let's have a look at one of the first transfer stories, and probably the biggest one that's right now in development for Aston Villa. That is looking at Óscar Mingueza from Celta Vigo. Now obviously, everybody knows it, Villa needs a right back for the January transfer window. We're just so short defensively. We're also shipping out way too many goals. And although, as of recording, we did get a great 1-0 win away from home at Goodison Park against Everton, ultimately, you know, it's easy to beat teams like that that aren't perhaps in the best form of consistency. But ultimately, we need to re-establish that defence, especially if we want to progress on this second season and finish strongly. So, Óscar Mingueza, obviously a right back coming in from Celta Vigo, 25 years of age, 190 metres tall, so that means he's quite tall, by the way. Obviously, he's played around games that have been, you know, he's been around for a long time, hasn't he? He's been around for a while in La Liga, and he's somebody that Villa have clearly got on their radar. He's quick, he's pacey, and he's just genuinely defensively solid. Now, what Villa want from this is obviously to bring him in. However, Celta Vigo are looking at his release clause to be met, which is around 20 million euros. Now, is it a little bit of money? Yes, it is. It's obviously a lot of money to play for somebody like him. Obviously, we know what we need is in right back especially. We're looking at two or three players that within this team just aren't physically good enough. Or at least not at the quality that we have. Obviously, Matakash is our real starting right back, but he's somebody that we all know we need to ship on because he just isn't really cutting it quality-wise. Bogard isn't ready, and we haven't seen him since the first few games of the season. And Nikogovic, we will get onto in a bit, but there's obviously some movement happening around with him. So I think someone like this would be a really good asset to the team. Obviously, given the likes of Pau Torres as well, you got that little bit of connection, a little bit of a link up there. It's something that, whilst we can build upon, maybe they're looking at it and saying, okay, we'll see how he goes for the next 12 months if we can get him in. But obviously, you know, it's not the be-all, end-all. However, one of the players that has been considered is a player called Marc Pubil. So he joined UD Almere, so in the same league as well. A little bit younger, he's only 21 years of age, so he's one to clearly build upon for the future, but he's also somebody that has got a lot of potential behind him as well. Around £5-10 million for him. That's somebody there that they might consider should we not pay the release clause of Óscar Mingueza there. Either way, I just want to see it right back in. For me personally, I think we should have been going for Kyle Walker-Peters. I think regardless of whether he was going to be out of contract in the summer, or paying some sort of fee from now. I think there's a player there that really would have suited Aston Villa's play style a lot more. A nice possessive heavy football, but also somebody that just wants to run up the pitch and also contribute an attacking threat going forward. I think he would have been perfect for us. But however, if we are going to go for these signings, it's not a terrible option there. It's something that we can work upon and something that hopefully Villa will get over the line and build upon for themselves there going forward. So that's Óscar Mingueza to possibly Aston Villa or Mark Pubel. Let us know in the comments down below if you think either one of those would be a solid buy. But let's go and move on to the next transfer story. So the next transfer, we're going sticking with defence. We're now looking at Badé from Sevilla. Now this is a really interesting one, and one that I'm personally hoping Villa get over the line, because I think this is one that we should really be, putting all our eggs into the basket for, because this would be also, in some aspects, a statement signing. Badé, 24 years of age, coming from Seville, French international, has played over, shall we see? Well, he's only played 15 games this season for Seville, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, that looks wrong to me. But obviously, French centre half, he plays on the right hand side. So additionally, let's think about this like this: Óscar Mingueza, Badé, Pau Torres there. That's a good connection there as well for you. 1.91 metres. He's a tall little bugger, isn't he? A tall little bugger. But this is one of those players that not only can look the part and will play the part. He's also got that connection with Monchi as well. If you all remember, obviously Monchi coming in from Seville as a communicator of football. He's obviously coming to Aston Villa, and remember that link up there. That's something that we could exploit and could use transfer-wise. Now, the main talking point behind this transfer has been about, Villa been interested in him. They've sent inquiries. Sevilla looking around 20-25 million for the player. Now, from what we understand reports-wise, it's been suggested that Villa are willing to pay it plus Diego Carlos. Now again, Diego Carlos also came from Seville a few years ago. Hasn't had the perhaps best time at Aston Villa in these last 2 years. Has had some decent performances here and there, but ultimately is somebody that has massively let it down. The issue is with Diego Carlos, you've got a player that's so physically imposing and should be a real dominating stride in our defence, and yet he's probably one of the most cowardice players that we have. And he's also just defensively such a liability at times. It's almost like when you watch Mings and criticise him for the mistakes that he can often have in games. That's kind of what it is like with watching Diego Carlos. There's just not really a sense of cohesion there with him. And then you've got to bear in mind, Mings isn't really at the standard of what we need anymore. Even though he's still playing games, he's been out for a long time. Ezri Konsa's having to play on the right back position because we just don't have anyone better to cover that. And now Pau Torres is injured as well. This is a decision that I think for me should be really going ahead with Aston Villa. We're crying out for a centre half. We're crying out for an improvement in defence. And this is a player that's gonna, leadership from the back. 24 years of age. He knows how to play style. Like I said, when we have those players like Pau Torres fit, potentially those additional signings like Mingueza or Pubel, there's a connection there. When you sort out your defence, you can work on your core. Excuse me. And you can work on your core there. That's how you work on that defence. And by having someone like him, we're going to have a nice, strong partnership there. And that's something that I hope Villa really do get achieved. Excuse me. It's also something that, we're screwing up. We're screwing up for opposing centre halves, aren't we? And you want depth in your position. So why not go and test the waters for someone like him? He's someone that will help the game and will help the team going forward. Will someone that helps to... It's just imposing. That's what we need. Imposing centre halves. Let's look at Liverpool. Say Van Dijk and Konate, two strong, intimidating centre halves. Our centre halves and our defensive line in general keeps chipping and changing. So when we consider how we can improve upon this, if we just simply invest in somebody that is going to, build up that physicality, but also command the starting place in that team, I have no doubt that is someone that we can really invest upon and someone that can really help work with us. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. Badé to Aston Villa, potentially 20 million, 25 million, potential swap deal with Diego Carlos. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you think it'd be a good signing? Because I think it would be. It'd be my idea of a good centre half and to help usher in a defensive structure in a team that is conceding goals way too easily, lacks the clean sheets. Someone like him, I think he would do a good job. But that's Badé to potentially Aston Villa for us. Lastly then, I want to talk about some departure that could potentially be happening, and one that I don't think is really much of a surprise there. Kostaneka Glukovic from Aston Villa to potentially go on loan to VfL Wolfsburg in Bundesliga. Obviously, with the right back situation, we all know that it's not one of our strongest areas. In fact, it's probably one of our weaker areas and something that is needed to be addressed even in the summer. But reportedly, Wolfsburg are interested in a loan deal for the player. He's someone that has only played 342 minutes, which is from 9 appearances this season, since being behind Matty Cash at Villa Park. And bear in mind that, Nikola Kovacic is still young. He's coming from Red Star Belgrade about a year and a half ago. He's somebody that needed a real bit of time to get into it. And in fairness, he can still have that. I imagine he's somebody that I want to consider as a future project. But for what we need right now, he's not. He's just not there. He's just not ready, and it clearly shows by the play time. So I think sending him out to Wolfsburg as well will obviously give him the time and experience that he needs. But like I said, with the likes of Óscar Mingueza or Mark Pugel, lose one, enhance with another. We're essentially chipping and chirping, but we're going to hopefully invest in somebody that will be worth the money and investment that we need for Aston Villa. And I think somebody like Wolfsburg will do him with a charm, very competitively the Bundesliga, and especially in a team that's lower down in the table. He's almost hopefully going to get minutes there. They play a lot of games, and he's going to be somebody that will need the experience. If he wants to break through into the Villa team and wants to have that future at Villa Park, he needs to get that loan move. So I do hope this is something that can come about from him. Also, additionally, some just real other news. Well, obviously, we know Louis Barry's been recalled back from his loan at Stubble County, where he was absolutely flying. He's come back, and now Villa are hopefully looking to secure a new contract deal, even though I believe he only signed one 6 months ago. Signed a new contract deal, or potentially loan him out. But it's kind of coming out that Celtic might be testing the waters with a 7-figure bid. Who knows? For me, I love the confidence of Lou Barry. I think we all adore him for the goal he scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup. But you just got to be real and say he's not somebody that's going to break through this team, unfortunately. With the likes of John Duran, Ollie Watkins as well. We've seen it, like if Cameron Archer couldn't break through, I just don't really see it for Louis Barry, so that's something there that we have to consider there. And also obviously John Duran as well. There's a lot of talk about him potentially being on the move. Villa don't consider him for sale. I don't consider him for sale. At minimum, if it was 80 million at least. But you got the likes of Arsenal trying to be interested in him, but not testing what's for 70 million. PSG were after him. Obviously, West Ham made 2 bids of 30-40 million pounds, but they were rejected. He's somebody that I hope we'll keep, but then obviously we will see in the summer what's going to happen there. So a few potential outgoings there. It'll be interesting to see if Villa do make any of those. I think they're going to have to, because I think even Villa are starting to realise that, to really push on this season, get rid of some of the dead wood and bring in quality, and then we'll have a reanalysis of it again in the summer. But those are some potential departments from Aston Villa this January transfer window. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. It's been a little bit of a long time now since we've done a transfer update, but I hope I have done well. I hope I have provided some decent content and at least some decent options for Villa to look at. Obviously, if you're not in the loop with the news, this is the best that we can offer, because that's really kind of what's coming out of Villa really at the moment. It's not really a massive lot of news. There's obviously that odd name being thrown about here and there, but there's nothing absolutely concrete. And so really for Villa, it's just about keeping the quiet, and hopefully when we do the content, we can provide it to you guys. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave us in the comments down below what you thought about these transfers or any transfer rumors you've heard of. You can tell us there as well. Tell us in Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want to tell us. Just tell us there and see what goes. But without further ado, I've been Ben. I hope you have enjoyed Up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you later, boys.